Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to day 17 of albums that are 50 years old in 2022 as we look back on the great year of music, 1972. I'm counting down my favorites, 31 days, 31 picks. Of course, on a handful of dates, you're going to get twofers because we did have some very notable bands that released two great albums in this year of 1972. So we're going to be, whenever that situation arises, instead of giving you each album on separate days, we're going to combine those onto one day so we can allow for more albums to be talked about and picked this month, right? So today, one that's been, I think, chosen by a lot of you already this month and been asked for many times. Pete, when are you going to pick that debut album from that little band from New York? It's today. It was released January 16th. Wow! Almost 50 years to the day. Oh man, I should have picked it yesterday. I didn't even realize that. I don't look at the release dates when I do these, so that would have been pretty cool if I would have done it yesterday. Well, we're a day off anyway. January 16th, 1972, for the Columbia label, produced by Murray Krugman, Sandy Pearlman, and David Lucas. Of course, I'm talking about the debut from Blue, Oyster Cult, self-titled, killer all the way, all killer, no filler. This is, part of the black era, black period of the band, right? You get the red and the black. This is, and how about that cover? I mean, come on. How amazing is that? I own a T-shirt with that because you absolutely have to. This album did not really explode onto the charts or anything like that. Band, this was a kind of a slow build band, right? The first couple albums did okay, and then the success started to come to the band. But a great album of early 70s hard rock and psychedelia, right? I mean, it's this not a particularly heavy album, although it is kind of heavy in spots. I got into this whole conversation, I think it was with Jamie Laszlo recently, about Blue Oyster Cult and about how, such a great band, so much varied material throughout their career. But I think we always have this image of BOC being actually much heavier than they are. And I think that's kind of true. It's like we always kind of lump BOC into the heavy bands, and while they do have heavy songs and heavy moments, they were about much more than that. And this debut album is a perfect example of that. So we got Eric Bloom on vocals, rhythm guitar, and keyboards. You've got Donald Buck Dharma Roser on lead guitar and vocals. We've got Joe Bouchard, bass and vocals. You got Albert Bouchard, drums and vocals, and Alan Lanier, rhythm guitar and keyboards. One of the great things about this band, always, especially during their classic period, is that everybody in the band sang, everybody wrote, every album is full of such variety because you've got all these guys which are totally taking part in the creativity of each album, and they each sing, and it made for just such an interesting band with all these elements all the time on every single album. That's why most of these albums sound very different from each other, from song to song. You get different flavors, and that's what's so great about them. This album, no exception. This album is probably the most psychedelic of all the early albums. Again, we're just coming out of the 60s, right? The band is the Soft White Underbelly. Transmaniacon MC starts things off. That's a pretty heavy rockin' song. Played it live when I saw them a few weeks back. Man, how great was that? Transmaniacon MC, a killer kickoff track, and I think one of their unsung gems in their catalog. You've got I'm on the Lam, but I Ain't No Sheep. That's kind of just good rock and roll, psychedelic rock, right? Garage rock type of thing. Another great track. Then came The Last Days of May, one of their most beloved songs, and a really good, moody, slow simmer of a track with some great guitar soloing from Buck on that. Another live staple. They played that one recently too, and it featured two sizzling solos from Richie Castellano and Buck Dharma that just tore the house down. Just amazing. Stairway to the Stars, another good hard rocker on the album. Excellent song. Then you got, a couple of interesting tracks. You got Before the Kiss, a Red Cap. Again, interesting lyrics and just kind of quirky song. Screams is another really interesting one. She's as Beautiful as a Foot. How beautiful are feet? Well, I think we know how that goes. Again, cool kind of humorous take on psychedelic rock here, and all sorts of good instrumentation on these songs. Like I said, good varied vocal attack, which I really love from this band. Cities on Flame with rock and roll. Dun, dun, dun. I mean, Cities on Flame is, I think, from this album anyway, the blueprint of some of the riff-heavy things that they would do from time to time on their albums. And that's a great precursor to the next album, which could be one of their heaviest that comes out next. Workshops of the Telescope. Workshop. I keep wanting to put S's on the end of words. Why do I do that? My parents do that all the time. Man, I get into these conversations. I love my folks to death, but it's, they're like, so what'd you do today? Well, we went to Walmart's and then we went over to Target's, and I'm like, well, when did Walmart and Target have S's on the end? And I noticed they've done that as they've gotten older. They tend to put S's on the end of things where they're not supposed to be. And I just did it. I did it twice. Oh, man. See how it works? They always say. Workshop of the Telescopes. There is an N at the end of N. There is an S at the end of telescope, so it's not Workshops of the Telescope. It is Workshop of the Telescopes. Another really good track and a highlight from this album. Really cool, good hard rock and psychedelic rock. Very intelligent. Like, they always call, like, one of the tags that Blue Oyster Cult I've heard over the years is thinking man's heavy metal. And while I don't think they were ever a heavy metal band, the thinking man's thing, very intelligent music here. And then Redeemed, which is the last song on the album, which is kind of interesting because it's almost kind of like this kind of like poppy country rock type of thing at spots. But then you got the really cool guitar solo from Buck. It gets a little heavier towards the end. Really cool song. I like this album a lot. This is good. It usually doesn't rank up with my top 3 or 4 from BOC, but it usually kind of fills in right behind there. I mean, this is a band that has so many great albums. It's just, so many. So even an album as strong as this one, for me anyway, may not rank right at the top, but it's not that far behind. So there you have it. Blue Oyster Cult, self-titled debut from 1972, from January 16th, 1972. So 50 years and 1 day ago. Here we are on day 17. Like I said, I wish I would have planned this a little bit better because I would have talked about this one yesterday. That would have been fitting on the 50th, the exact 50th anniversary of that album. But it's okay. 1 day late. The belated birthday. That's all right. That's okay. It's just as good. So tell us your thoughts on Blue Oyster Cult's debut in the comments below, as well as your pick for day 17 down below. So visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Thanks for watching, everybody. I am Pete Pardo. Stay tuned for more stuff here on the channel, as well as another album that is 50 years old in 2022 coming at you tomorrow morning for day 18. So till then, we'll see you, and have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.